How's it, everyone? Welcome to another show. And in today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about why welcome email sequences is important for your business. Any business, really, but particularly e-commerce businesses. That's the theme of our show, Bia and I. Welcome in the studio again.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Just to give you guys some context, there's something called email marketing, which is this show is all about. And we specifically want to talk today about why welcome sequences are important. Now, for those of you that don't know, Bia, maybe you can give us a quick summary on what exactly a welcome series is. Because some people might be sitting out there going, oh, what does that actually mean? Because it could potentially mean anything to anybody. But in our realm, it means something quite specific. So maybe just let's give the people some context to what that actually means.
So a welcome series is basically an introduction email that automatically gets sent to when someone subscribes to a form that you have, let's say on your website or to a landing page or wherever there's a section for them to fill in a form, leave their email addresses. This welcome automation will fire on automatically, and the basics of it, just to give like a summary or a quick rundown of what a welcome automation is. It's normally 3 to 5 emails in a sequence where you tell people more about the brand, and it's just your opportunity to, as a business, give these people the information and the benefits and the unique selling points of the brand, and just introduce yourself as the brand owner to potential customers or to people that subscribed.
Yeah, I've got an analogy in my head, and I think it was a previous YouTube video that I actually made about it specifically. Was it's almost like the digital marketing realm is so noisy when you're on Facebook. You see one ad after the other, and you're competing with the mom's attention and family's attention and friends posting stuff and big brands advertising everywhere. It's just so much noise. And the analogy I have in my head is, imagine you at a nightclub and you see an attractive counterpart on the dance floor, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm here, I'm single, I want to go make a move. But the reality is, if you walk up to that person, they most likely be, dancing close to the speaker if they're on a dance floor. You're not really going to be able to convince them to go on a date with you because they won't be able to hear what you have to say. So it's almost like an ad, a Facebook ad that people click on, is a great way to grab someone's attention and to create some form of interest or curiosity. And the way I see it is, it's almost like you going over, making eye contact, making some moves, and just seeing if there's energy and there's some synergy between the two of you. And then as you start to get the vibe, it's almost like you're whispering in the ear going, do you want to go have a drink by the bar? And I feel like that's where email marketing comes in, because now you can have a personalized message to that person that they can take the time to read if they've opened it, to get a better understanding of who you are. Because what's going to happen when you move over to the bar, you're going to move further away from the speakers, which means there's going to be less noise, which means now you can have a meaningful conversation to get to know me a little bit better. And now I have a chance to sell myself to you to potentially go on a date, and who knows where that might go. So it's like the email series, the welcome series, is almost a nice way of doing that exactly. So the person on the other side can get a better idea of the brand, what you do, the unique selling points, and so forth. And they can then decide if it's worth pursuing this relationship by buying a product or not.
Even if they don't buy, I think it's also, I just want to say I love that analogy.
Oh, cool, thanks.
It was such, I painted this whole picture in my mind. But even if they don't buy from you, it's also nice to just nurture them. And it's good to have that engagement and nurture them through the process, because they might not buy on the welcome of the brand, but they might buy along the lines because you have nurtured them through, because they feel like they know you now. It's almost like you are building that real in-person relationship with the brand, and it just makes them more comfortable to eventually down the line purchase.
So let's maybe unpack what a traditional welcome series would look like, at least on our realm, because many different brands do it very differently. But I think there's a framework that we've found works really well. Maybe we can unpack what that framework looks like, because it's, hopefully if you're watching or listening, you have a clear idea of what it is. In a nutshell, it's a series of emails designed to get the person on the other side a better idea of who you are, what makes you unique, and essentially create some form of almost like curiosity in order to get them to take the next step, whatever that might be, whether it's buying the product or checking out specific categories that you have or whatnot. So with that said, what kind of framework do you think people should follow that you have a good idea of would work for them?
So I think in terms of that, it's so important to know that where this person signed up from first, because that's going to be essential for your first email in that welcome automation. Even though you are saying, welcome, this is the brand, this is what we do in Meet the Team, it's important to know, let's say, for example, they signed up from a pop-up on the website that provides you 15% off your first order. Make sure to add that in your welcome automation. Hi, you just signed up for 15% off. Here you go. Here's the discount, but let's tell you more about us. So that is normally the general standard welcome automation, the first email, where you just have here's your discount code. Let's tell you more about. We actually like to add the discount code at the bottom of the email, because you want to have people read through a bit more about you. Psychologically, they're gonna feel like they're just skimming through. They can't just take the code and go. They actually have to read a little bit about you. So you want them to read a bit more about the brand, and then what we normally add in there is just basics of the brand. What do you really want to convey? What message do you want to convey to your subscribers, people that just subscribed? So more about the brand, unique selling points. Again, like I mentioned, Meet the Team is also so cool to do, because if you've got a picture or an image of the team members in there, or maybe the owner, meet the owner. This is it makes it real. There's actually someone behind this email. Making your welcome automation, the first one especially, also very personalized. Again, personalization in email goes like this. So, like this. So it's good to have, for example, the owner, even though it's automated, you can have, this is Jandre, we are talking, chat as if it's Jandre, and at the bottom you can say, it's so good to have you here, thank you, giving that little touch. It just gives that little oomph.
And the thing is, a lot of people will even know it's automated, but still it gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling inside nonetheless.
Yeah.
Sometimes I receive automations, but just the way it's written makes me go, you know what, this is actually makes me feel good. I'm actually ready to click and see what this is all about, or maybe even use my coupon code that I've had for the last 7 days. I think the first email, what you're saying, is super important to consider context. How did someone become a subscriber? Because you can't just go and send a welcome email introducing the brand if someone specifically applied for a coupon code. So you can't just go hey, here's what we do. The person's gonna be well, where's my coupon code? So the subject line might have to say, here's your coupon code, PS, scroll all the way down, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then it's okay, this makes sense. I just signed up for a coupon code. I received a subject line that tells me my coupon code is here. Now I can open the email and get my coupon code. But while I'm doing that, I can also learn a little bit more about you. So the first email, here's your coupon code, little story about us. What would the second, third, or fourth email potentially look like? So
in your second email, what we normally do is that's where you go a bit deeper into the unique selling points, because now you've introduced your brand in the first email. The second email, which normally goes out 11 hours after the first one, is just where you tell people what is your unique selling points of the brand, the top selling products, pulling through your top selling products, see our best sellers, because again, these people visited the website, they signed up from the sign up pop-up or whatever, so they have some type of interest in the brand. So then also showing them, okay, these are what makes us unique, what makes us stand out, and then showing the top sellers in there, and then also maybe add a little bit of reviews. I mean, I personally feel like you can add reviews in every single email that you build out. So again, I think you should. So in that instance, having then reviews pull through at the bottom as well, again, even though you are welcoming someone in, it still doesn't make the brand credible. But adding reviews in there will just be that last little push to show it's not just a personalized email, it's also some people that has purchased from you before. So the second one is normally unique selling points and best sellers, and then the reviews at the bottom. I'm just looking at some of our stats here in terms of welcome sequences that we have for one of our own brands, and we've tested a lot from what I can see. Thanks. There's a lot of them. The one I'm looking at now, it's got 67,000 rands worth of sales, open rate 32%, click-through rate 4.6%, which is really high. That's amazing. Yeah, that's high. So we've generated 70,000 rand from this welcome series since March 12th, and it's now, as the recording of this video, what is it, 17th today? So literally 5 weeks. 70,000 rand in 5 weeks just from a welcome series. I mean, that's revenue that someone wouldn't have had if they didn't have that series. Yeah.
So this just sheds light on the importance of having a welcome series, because yes, we've explained psychologically this is why and this is cool, but it all comes down to making more money.
Yeah.
And this is proof that it does. And we've got a bunch of other brands as proof as well. So in terms of the third and fourth, what would that look like?
Third email is normally where, if let's say you only have 3 emails in the sequence, which is generally what we use, 3 emails. It depends on the brand again. If you have more, you want to break that up into more emails in the sequence instead of having, all of that information in 1 or 2 emails. So let's say the third email is your final email. That is where we normally just say this is your last chance to use your discount, because people have signed up for the discount. Remember that people will fall out of the sequence if they have purchased. So if they haven't purchased, they will receive this third email where we just remind them, like, this is your last chance to get your 10%, 15% off. Try us out. Again, crucial to add the reviews. I think the third email, or the last email in this series, is going to have to focus a lot on reviews. So even if it's testimonials, if it's videos maybe that you have on YouTube, you can pull that through. If it's like anything, even some reviews, Reels reviews that you've posted on your social pages, that's also something you can link and just show, like, people click through and see that. But I think that's the reminder of the discount, to make sure that they use it, because it's going to expire. Just also adding that little bit of an urgency in there. It's going to expire soon, so make sure you use your first time discount, and then also see what why other people are buying this product. And then also maybe just answering a few questions, like frequently asked questions that we also have to look at, and maybe there's a few questions that someone might have.
It depends on the complexity of the brand, like what kind of products you're selling and how much convincing needs to get done, and how many questions and potential sales barriers a person would have in their mind when it comes to the product. Because if it's groceries, it's like, well, whatever, like, I'll just give me my coupon code so I can buy. But if it's like really expensive skincare products, like maybe night cream, my wife told me what night cream costs the other day. I was like, what? Is that what you're spending monthly on night creams? But the point is, like, maybe use that person who wants to make sure that you're actually spending your money on the right product. So you might need a little bit more convincing. So you can maybe use the welcome series to better explain where the brand is sourcing their ingredients from. Like, this is the kind of ingredients that we're using that nobody else is using. So you have to kind of like almost do a bit of additional convincing, especially if you're a new skincare brand, because of the trust in the industry. I think, I'm not a female, but from what I've seen is, once you are loyal to a brand, you're quite loyal, and it's very difficult to pivot. So if you're going to have to convince someone to give your brand a shot, you're going to have to really go the extra mile in convincing them. Exactly.
Showing before and after is also something, especially in the welcome series, like, people start trusting you immediately.
So just to conclude and maybe recap, is a bunch of emails that are stacked together that will be sent over a period of how long? How many days would you suggest is best in between the emails? Because some people might want to send, some people would say once a week, which I think is too little and way too passive, and passive marketing is going to get you passive results. What would be a good time delay? How many days in between emails would you suggest?
It's going to be testing for you, but what we have seen as a general from all of the accounts that we've worked with is, we normally send that one first welcome email immediately after someone signs up. So they shouldn't have to wait for that email to come through, because it's still fresh in their minds. Their endorphins are still high. They're still scrolling through the website, and they just signed up and they see the email come through. And so that is normally immediately after they signed up. Second email, it depends. So I have seen second email we normally send like 12 hours after or 24 hours after. So that is just because while it's still fresh in your mind, while it's still, so that someone can recall that they visited your website the day before, that is the main reason why we want to send the second one quite early as well, so that they can learn about the brand and they are still in this, in high endorphins of viewing the products and getting excited. And then the third email could either be a day or 2 after the second email was sent. So that is normally the delay between the all 3 emails. And then another thing that I want to also mention is, you can have a 4th email. I would then recommend having that, like, for example, 7 days after, 5 to 7 days after, Because let's say, again, it was maybe over a weekend that all of these emails came through.
Yeah, or someone was on holiday.
Someone was on holiday. They were probably busy. So having that one last email 5 to 7 days after, again, expressing what the brand sells, showing the best sellers, just a little bit more context in that email. That is also something that works well, because someone might have missed the first 3 that came through in the first 3 days after they signed up. So I think that's more or less the timelines there.
Well, let's conclude by just opening up our stats for Sentimental. So we've got 3 emails that you've put together for us, or the team has put together for us, in terms of welcome sequence. We've got 3. You can do more if you want to, but 3 obviously works for us. Then we've got, in terms of days between emails, we send the first one 1 minute after, then the second email 1 day after, and then the third email we send 4 days after. And if we look at revenue, the first email has brought in 73% of the revenue. This is now the 67,000 that we've referred to earlier in the last 30 days. So 49,419 Rand was generated on the first email. 19% of the revenue, which is 13,280, was generated on the second email. And then 7% of the revenue was generated on the last email, which is 4,800 bucks. So there you have it. All 3 emails making money.
So if you didn't have the second or the third email, you probably missed out on about 20k.
Yeah, exactly. You would have lost out on 20,000 Rand odd. And that's money for Jam, because you didn't put more money into ads to make that money. You didn't scramble across, as a business owner, running around trying to do more things to make that money. It was literally just an automated system that spat out an extra 20k for you. And I think this is how people start to underestimate the power of technology, AI, and just software in general when it comes to their businesses, is that you can streamline your business so much more to allow you to make more money without having to really work so much harder. I think that was like a show. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was so good to hear.
Cool. Well, hope there was value in it for you on the other side. If there was, I want to encourage you to consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. And in the meantime, we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cool. Bye.